Hello, everyone. It's your friend Tristan Miller. I'm just here to inform you that I'm recording my first stand-up comedy album and special on May the 4th in New York City at Caveat at 4 p.m. You can go to the link in my bio on my social media platforms, or you can go to caveat.com, go to May the 4th, and buy tickets there. Highly recommend that you get them early as they are cheaper that way. Also, after the show, I'm going to go, Phantom Menace is playing in theaters. So I'm going to take a big group to go to the nearest AMC or whatever Cineplex and go see my favorite Star Wars movie. I'll say it with my full chest. My favorite Star Wars movie in theaters again. So hope to see you at both things. If you have to pick one, just pick my show, please. I would like to sell out the house if possible. Anyway, love you. Hope to see you soon. Okay, bye-bye. Coming soon to theaters, podcasts, film reviews, and so much more. Available at tristanmiller.substack.com.
And now, our feature presentation.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Focus Testing, a podcast about movies where we make a movie. My name is Tristan Miller, and joining me today is Aimée Borlase. How are you, Aimée?
I'm good. I'm very good.
Yeah, it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in God's Own. Can't complain too much, I feel like. But you and I met because we were on the same comedy lineup. And how did you fall into comedy?
I have been in the performing arts for like 20 years, but I started in like community theatre. I was never interested in stand-up, and then it was a Bay Dreams, which is like huge concert that was on in Nelson, that was hosted in Nelson a few years in a row. And everybody I knew was at that, and I didn't want to go. A festival, it's not my scene. And one person that I knew that wasn't at Bay Dreams was doing like an open mic comedy lineup, and I went and I was like, oh, I could do that. I could try that, and did it once and then was hooked, and that was like 6 years ago. So yeah, have not stopped since then.
Yeah, and you have your own like production company for performing arts. And how did that come about? How do you feel?
Yeah. So I was directing and performing a lot in community theatre. And I put on a show through the community theatre called A Very Gay Cabaret. And while I enjoyed that experience, I was like, oh, I feel like I would rather this was a professional production, like the amount of work that went into it. And I think that I can only really speak for New Zealand, but my feeling is that a lot of queer performances are fundraisers for queer charities, which is cool, but it means a lot of time queer performers get up and do like a professional level show and then don't get paid.
True.
So, me and my friend Molly started producing that show independently, and now do the annual Very Gay Cabaret plus monthly musical theatre open mics. We're both we met doing musical theatre Shakespeare, and we also do like a non-cis male lineup quarterly at Good Times Comedy Club as well.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's a very astute observation that it ends up being like charity events. I think that's also common practice in the States as well, at least in New York, but also I feel like most of the time, at least in the circles in which I ran in New York, half the time it's like an oops, all gay lineup anyhow. Very cool. So you were doing Shakespeare that was also musical theater. Can you talk?
Yeah.
I'm curious about that.
Yeah, we were doing it was through like it was like through COVID. We were just trying to do some stuff that was like COVID friendly. There was a bunch of us that we were going to do Rent, and that was cancelled, and so we picked this instead. So the first one we did was A Midsummer Night's Dream, and it was like a jukebox musical. And we ended up actually touring the States with it in a sort of non-financially viable way, but it was very fun.
Good.
And that's how I met Molly, my business partner. And a lot of that was just because we were touring and we were all having to share rooms and share beds because the life of a touring artist, as glamorous as that sounds to people that have no idea about it, is the opposite. So we were like, oh, actually, we live together really well. We work together really well. And
Mhm.
yeah.
Very nice. Lovely. Um, do you, what's your first memory of being in the cinema?
I think the earliest memory I have yeah, we would have called it the cinema. We call it the movies now. I'm originally from England, and I'm
Ah.
from like like a little village, and you'd have to go into town to go to the
Mhm.
cinema. And I think the earliest memory I have is a birthday party and going to see Aladdin.
That's a
I
really good first
think,
experience.
yeah, I probably went younger than that, but that's definitely the first memory I
Yeah.
have.
Did you end up liking it? Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I did. I love Aladdin.
Yeah.
I still love Aladdin.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Really, yeah. Um, there's a New York comic, Jay Jordan, was like live tweeting watching Aladdin, and he was like, "No, this still fucking rules. This is like really good. My God, Robin's doing so much work here for no
Yeah,
reason other than
yeah.
being having fun." Um, but yeah, that's so good. Now when you go to the movies, do you have like a default cinema snack? Do you sneak stuff in? What do you do?
Yeah. Do you know what? I get two answers for this because
Okay,
I think that it's very basic, but a bag of Maltesers in the bucket of popcorn,
classic.
like classic. I'm so innovative. Look at my unique snack. But actually, my sister and I, when we go to the movies, we go to the fancy movies, which is
Mm,
Silky Otter, and you can get like a full meal delivered. So when I went to
mhm.
Wicked, I had a hot dog like 15 minutes into the film, and they also do really good arancini balls, and
What is
I
that?
it's like risotto. It's like a bowl of risotto battered and deep fried.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we call that a
Yeah.
cheese curd back home. Only
Why?
because it's a curd. It's like a curds and whey, but made out of cheese, I guess. But we do it with mozzarella or cheddar. But
Oh,
those are
okay,
that
yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
really good though.
Yeah.
That's really oh, look at
Yeah.
you. So bougie, so
Yeah.
refined.
Yeah. Nothing more refined than a hot dog in a movie theater.
I really they do like full ass meals in some of the theaters in the States where you're like, why am I having steak and mashed potatoes while I'm trying to watch The Substance? You know, this seems bad.
Yeah. 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 There was somewhere that used to do that. Like they had like a little VIP, you could pay extra for VIP seats and then someone would bring you like a hot meal. I just remember sitting in the movies and being like, I don't want to smell someone's roast chicken dinner while while I'm
Yeah,
watching a movie.
very true. Like, what am I doing with this gazpacho? I'm trying to like, the minute forks get involved, it's like
Yeah.
clang, 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 clang.
No, I could sit next to my family if I wanted to hear the sound of forks and knives while I'm watching a movie. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, do you have a movie that you've seen recently that you'd recommend that maybe people haven't seen?
Goodness. No.
No? All right,
Short
fair
answer.
enough.
I mean, to be honest, like I know this is a movie conversation. And I was like, do I watch movies? I feel like my attention span is so much shorter. I keep just going to like the big blockbusters and then forgetting to see the little ones. I mean, I
Hmm.
would say it's not a recent film. But if anybody hasn't seen the film Snakeskin, it's a New Zealand made film. I think it's probably mid late 90s. Melanie Linsky is
Hmm.
the lead character in it. It's like a New Zealand makes really good road trip movies, and
Sure.
I think this might be the best one. So if
Snake
people
skin.
haven't seen Snakeskin,
Okay.
highly, highly recommend.
I will add it to my queue. I will track
Yeah.
it down. Do you have a film that you wouldn't recommend people see?
Surely so many.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, if I don't like a film, I will just stop watching it. So
Oh, I wish I had the
I'm like, I'm done. Or I will do that thing. I don't know, this is very ADHD of me, but I'll be like, this movie feels like XYZ is going to happen. And then I'll just like pull up the Wikipedia page and go like,
Mm.
oh yes, I was correct about the plot. I now do not need to.
So what I'm hearing is you'd rather read a book, a very small book, and
Like a
watch a
really,
film.
really short book, a really,
Yeah.
really short book. Everything, what it is everything I've seen recently, I have enjoyed.
Well, that's good.
So I think that's probably what it is.
Champagne problems. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
that's very good. Very privileged of you. That's great. Are you ready for some movie trivia?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. First one is, what is movie?
What is movie?
Yeah, what is movie?
Do I have to answer this like a Jeopardy question?
I
Stressed.
mean, you can. You can if you want.
What is movie?
Hmm.
I very passionately feel if it's more than an hour and 45 minutes, it's not a movie anymore. So like
Okay.
90 minutes to like an hour 45. More than that, it's a Netflix series that you had too much money for.
More than
So
that,
I
it's a
guess it's
movie.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I like that. Well, to poke and prod a little bit on that, when
Okay.
does a TV show become a movie then? Like on the opposite end, how long does it need to
Yeah.
be before it's a movie?
This is a good reverse question, and I just don't know the answer. My sense of like plotting of story has been really messed around by the fact that I've spent the last almost a year obsessively watching TTRPGs, which like people watch playing
Mm.
Dungeons and
Yeah,
Dragons, stuff like
yeah.
that, which has like generally incredibly slow
Yep.
paced. It's like watching fan fiction, like it has the
Hmm,
same
hmm.
pacing as fan fiction. So ironically, I'm more than happy to watch 5 hours of people playing role-playing games at incredibly slow speed. If I watch a movie and it's 1 hour and 50 minutes, I'm like, hurry up, come on.
Ain't that always the way? That's so funny. Are you like a Dimension 20 fan? What are your,
Yeah, I am
yeah.
a big Dimension 20 fan, which I most mainly because I got COVID last year and was
Oh.
really sick with it. And I was like, well, I guess now I can't move. So I will watch this show that everybody has told me I should watch. And I guess I have to apologize to all the people that I said Dungeons and Dragons sounds really nerdy too. I wouldn't want to be into that 15 years ago. Eating my words.
Yeah, fair. Fair enough. I feel like the overlap between people who are interested in theater and improv and Dungeons and Dragons is almost a circle, like that Venn
Yeah.
diagram. Um,
Yeah.
um, gosh, what was the next question I was gonna ask you? Oh, right. What movie, because you're into musicals, what
Hmm.
movie has the best soundtrack, do you think?
Oh. Mm, 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 mm.
Mm-mm-mm.
Ah, this is a really cool question. And nothing recent, probably.
Yeah, get
Oh,
'em.
the Barbie movie.
Oh, yeah.
I love the soundtrack of the Barbie movie. Really, really well done. Like the obviously like the soundtrack and the pop songs are all really good, but the way that the Barbie like theme plays through
Mm.
is great. I think like previous to that, I would have said Black Swan. I think that the way that
Oh,
they
sure.
used the Black Swan, like Tchaikovsky's music to create the score for that film is incredible. But if we're going like recent fun, the Barbie movie.
That's
Do
a
you
really
want,
good
yeah,
choice. Yeah.
those two actually. There we go.
Yeah. I think those are very, oh, those are both very good choices. Do you have a favorite film, musical film, like an adaptation of a stage play that's musical?
Yeah, that's not a slime tutorial. I actually Into the Heights was really, really good.
Yeah.
The movie of Into the Heights was really good. I felt like the stuff that
Mhm.
was left, like it made sense. A lot of
Mhm.
I think it's really hard to turn a musical into a movie because they are different media.
Mhm.
Uh, I think having, I'm I'm big on bring back intermissions in movie theaters, obviously. And I think trying to fit the plot of a musical like into the time of a good movie is really, really hard. I think Into the Heights did a good job.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I think as well, um, you're getting that with Wicked, an year-long intermission. Not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Wicked is I shouldn't have liked Wicked. I really
Okay.
enjoyed the movie and I shouldn't have done because it broke all my rules. It was too long.
Hmm.
Added stuff, but I really enjoyed the
Good. I'm
movie.
glad. I've yet to see it. I want to, but I just couldn't be honest when it came out for whatever
It's
reason.
it's very long.
Yeah, it is very long, and also I have no attachment to the musical.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, I've never engaged with it before, so I was hoping someone would drag me to it, and no one did. Um, but regarding In the Heights, I've only seen bits and
Hmm.
pieces of it. Really solid stuff. I was working on Tick Tick Boom for a
Hmm.
bit as like a PA, and two things. One, that movie's also really good. I think Lin-Manuel Miranda's a really good
Yeah.
director. I think
Yeah.
he should do more of that. Um, but also, it was the day In the Heights had come out, and everyone was like, "Where are all the black people in this fucking movie?" And Lynn was on set just furiously texting people, and I was like, "I really feel for you, dude. I'm so sorry. You're really having a time of it where you're like, I have a 12-hour day. I'm doing pickups, and then also I'm having to deal with this." Ah. So, but yeah, but it looks really good. I love all the clips I've
Mm.
seen, so I'll have to have a go at it. I got two more questions for you, and then we'll get to the
Hmm.
game. The first question is, who was your first character crush?
It would have been it. It would probably have been the mermaids that try to drown Wendy in the original Peter Pan.
Yeah, dude. Important, formative. I can. That's really good, actually. I think that also might be for me as well. Like, there's something about someone who's like, I'm really beautiful, but also I'm going to be a little mean.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I watched that scene, and whereas a normal person would be like, "Oh no, you'd better save Wendy," I was like, "Drown me," you know?
You know, fair play to you. And as always, last question is, what makes Austin Powers so sexy? Do you reckon?
Oh, it's confidence, surely. It's
That,
confidence,
yeah, that's
right?
definitely the most common answer that I get, and I feel like that is what makes him appealing, his mojo, etc.
Yeah. I think I think that's it's confidence, but it's not without entitlement somehow,
Mm-hmm.
which is rare.
Yeah, particularly from a man.
Yeah,
Yeah, wonderful. Are you ready for the game?
sure thing.
Great. Here we go. Random word is chain, Chain, chain. All right. I have a couple of
Oh.
notions, where,
Hmm.
but I defer to the guest always. So if you have an idea that's speaking to
Okay.
you,
I'm thinking I'm thinking like chain letter, chain email is where my brain
okay.
is going automatically.
All right.
Um, which is it's like directly my brain is going like remember I don't know if you ever had like actual physical chain letters before email. So I like this I was very young. I remember someone at school giving me a chain letter that was like you have to pass this on, and my mum was like no, I was like 8 years old. My mom's like you don't need to write it was like a same thing as a chain email, but you have to
Yeah.
physically write the letters and like post them to a bunch of people. And my mum was like, do not write your name and address on an envelope and then send it to a stranger. But I feel like there's some I would I would see a horror film that blends that like if you don't pass this email on to like X
Mhm.
number of people, you'll what die in some way in some way. Like that's where my brain has gone.
Yeah, I like that a lot as a premise. That's a really strong premise. I think that's really strong. I think setting it in high school is also always good, or like, right around that time where you're like, all right. Or maybe I think maybe freshman year of college, and it's someone
Oh yeah.
who's going to a new city. So there's also that added like fish out of water
Yeah.
uncomfortability to it emotionally. And so there's more pressure to like try and get on with people. And yeah, I think that's really strong. So for a horror film, I think number one, you have to figure out how people are dying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And number two, what the force is behind people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like is it a ghost? Is it an evil person? Is it a computer virus that's like trying to become human? You know?
I th I think I would want to keep it offline.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Only because I think I mean I've seen too many films that are just based in a computer, and I think it's really difficult to tell a story that way. It's
Yeah.
not impossible, but I also am liking the idea of I'm imagining being in a new town and being like, where do I send a letter in 2025?
Mm,
Like I think I would want to include that. Like there's a time element here, and like not only is it like whether or not you're going to take the threat seriously, but also I have, 24 hours to find out where to buy a stamp and send a letter.
I like that a lot. Like there's a scene where they're like on stamps.com and they're like, oh
Yeah,
no, it's 48-hour delivery. I can't do
yeah,
it. Ah, yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
I like that a lot. I think also like if it's like a small college town or something like that, that makes and like everything closes at like 4 p.m. or whatever.
I'm glad I
And
have actually been to a small college town, so I know what you're talking about because we don't have those in New Zealand.
fair enough.
We just have five universities, and one is in each city. But I know what you're talking about because I've been to one of those. I've been to one of those
Where,
places.
may I ask?
In oh no, where was it? In hang on, let me just cast my mind back. Illinois,
Okay.
and it was like a very small. We performed there. It was a very small, like religious, like a Christian college,
Yeah.
and there was like it's a dry town, which
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like a grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that was it, basically.
Yeah. Fair enough. I was gonna suggest a small town in Wisconsin, and I feel like we're doing a small Bible belt, like Bible. I was gonna say Bible school, which is something other,
It's a
but
different
like
thing.
a. I think, oh, if we made it a seminary school, that would be very interesting, I feel like.
Oh,
And and so it is like this weird sort of supernatural element as
yeah,
well, where you're dealing with
yeah,
like God or Satan or whatever, and nothing's open. It's such a small town, and this person is like, I have to send this letter.
yeah. And then
um
I think that does lean into like a spiritual threat, right?
mhm.
Um, because I can see that being uh, a interesting character. I mean, if even if it's a horror film, we still want character development.
Mhm.
So if we have someone at a seminary school having to have that internal conflict about whether they believe in the threat,
Mhm.
considering their existing beliefs.
Yeah, I think what could be fun about that would be like if the person going to seminary school is like, well, the Bible is mostly metaphor, and I'm approaching it that way, and I'm trying to like da 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 da, and then they're faced with like, oh no, there's like a demon. How do I get rid of this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. God, I think that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay. So first 15 minutes is them like getting acquainted with the whole
Yeah.
town and all that, and it's all weird, and you got weird locals, and then the threat happens.
Hmm.
And that's day one. Is it like one of those where it's like one long night where they're trying to mail
Yeah.
this letter?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I like that actually. Like
And I
a stretch that time out.
mhm.
Yeah.
I feel like the letter could be received as well with like, here's a bunch of information packet. for you're starting the new year, and then there's this mystery envelope. And that way the person ignores it because they're like, it's just junk mail or whatever. And then they come back and we're like, oh, weird. When we're gonna bring. Um, so I feel like if it's one long night, they try to go get the mail, like the stamps or whatever. There's gotta be I feel like there's gotta be like three things where three
Mm-hmm.
places where they try and go, right?
Yeah.
To mail this letter. I feel like the first one is obvious, the post office. It is closed.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a Sunday. It is not open.
No.
It's the Lord's Day.
Mm-mm.
Um, which also would be good because that would be why they were delayed as well, because they get the letter on Sunday morning, then they have to go to
Yeah.
church, and then
Yeah.
they come back and they're
There's
like, what
there's
is this
nothing
thing?
you can do about it on a Sunday.
Exactly.
And there has to be something has to happen to uh what is the word that I want to use is reify, which means to make something real, but that's not a normal word that people use. There has to be something to reify the threat.
Yeah, no, that's fine to ratify the threat. Yeah, to I think yeah, there has to be some sort of in the message like do this or this will happen by this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um I think what could be good would be they read the letter, it feels like a threat. Like in general, it feels like a threat. So they're gonna go talk to their like guidance counselor or whatever, and they meet up someplace and their guidance counselor dies. As
Oh,
like
yes.
so it's not
Yeah.
them, but they know it's real, you
Yeah.
know. Because the guidance counselor is like, yeah, I also got one of those. It's kind of baloney. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you
Yes.
really want
Okay.
to, you know, talk about it, we can. And then immediately gets like their head chopped off or something.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So then they're like, oh shit, no, this is real. I gotta go to the post office. It is simply closed. It's Sunday. Um, then I feel like the next place they would go is like a corner store, like a
Yeah.
dairy.
That would be the next logical step.
And I feel like the owner of the store should be in cahoots somehow with the letter writer.
Oh yeah. To delay or to assist.
I feel like to delay to like because I feel like the letter writer like doesn't actually want people to pass out the letters. I feel like they want to
Yeah.
like, they want to do a murder,
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
you know. Um so I think that would be
Yeah.
good. So like, that scene in Love Actually with Rowan Atkinson? I
Yes.
feel like
Yes.
it's
Oh my
that.
gosh. It is that.
Where it's like this person is taking so long.
Yeah. But like the inverse of it where it's ominous and creepy,
Hmm.
which is almost what that would be. It's like the in Love Actually, that scene is hilarious. In real
Yeah.
life, that is murderous rage induced.
It's true. It would be like, "Ah, I don't feel safe." Um,
I'm also thinking about all the other people in the town that have must have died in the lead up to like did our lead character get a last minute place in this school because the person that was going to be in that
that's good.
like build that like ominousness up
Mhm.
from the start.
Yeah, I think that's very good. Like a last minute placement. This person, our lead, is like applied to a bunch of schools, didn't get into any,
Yeah.
does not want to go to seminary school, but will
Yeah.
use it to get a BFA or whatever, like a degree, to then do what they want for a
Yeah.
living. So that's why they're going in skeptical as well. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
and I like that a lot that they got a last minute placement. So it's already like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I feel like if it's that,
Hmm.
then surely the force behind it should be the administration somehow, and they are killing off people who are like skeptical of
Yes.
Jesus.
Oh, yes, actually, this makes sense. Because it's like if you really believed, you would understand that Satan is a threat and you should pass these letters on.
Exactly. Exactly. So I feel like the last somehow they get like a clue from the corner store to then go to the college itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't
Uh,
even like started thinking about all the wonderful, horrific, and graphic deaths that would be in this film,
mhm.
which is my favorite part of like I love camp horror.
Mhm.
And I haven't even like th I wanna walk away from this and just go brainstorm like 20 fun deaths.
I feel like as what could be fun as well, and feel free to say no to this, would be like, for example, a guidance counselor like getting beheaded, that later on they show up and be like, it's fake. We're trying to get you here to kill you. Like no one else has actually died. It's like a conspiracy, you know?
I actually really like it a lot.
It's like, yeah, no, we want to murder only you.
Yeah,
Which sounds crazy, but we do this like every 3 months. We lure some
yeah,
fucker in to do it. Um, but yeah, okay, cool, 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 cool. But then every single grisly death that you see
yeah,
is like then later to be fake. I feel like the um there should be a moment where they're in the convenience store or, our hero turns away and comes back and there's like the person who runs the shop has like a pen stuck in their neck and it's just like psst. And of course the pen is from the university, which is a clue to go to there.
yes. Okay,
Yeah.
yes. No, I love that. I love that. I'm trying to think of more like paper and envelope themed
Mm,
deaths. And
I like
I'm
that. Yeah.
like, does someone get like a paper envelope thrown into their eye? Like, like
Yeah, 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 yeah. I like that. Oh, what's actually horrific is if someone gets like a paper cut and they can't stop like actually
oh
bleeding out. Like it's like really gnarly, like that hits an artery or whatever.
yeah.
Oh, I like getting
I don't know if that's possible, but I don't care.
yeah, absolutely. I do like the getting an envelope in the eye and then having like the eye come out. So
Yes.
pulling out the thing.
Yeah.
Um
I love that because I have when I was at uni, I directed a short film and there was a scene where someone had their eye plucked out by a bird. So
Ugh,
yeah,
grizzly.
big so
Ugh, what was it? What was
it
going
was
on
a
there?
it was like a very, very loose modern adaptation of The Birds by Daphne du Maurier. So it was like a birds came in and killed her because she spent too much time on the internet. Moral of the story,
As
don't go
so
on the
we should
internet.
all be punished for being online
Yeah.
too much. I was thinking as well, you know how like magicians will often use like like a quick burning paper.
Oh yeah.
I feel like doing something with that and someone catches fire could be kind of fun. Getting just really terrible
Yeah.
ways. I don't know what those circumstances surrounding those deaths would be,
No.
but I think having them once the night starts and every person they interact with dies somehow, they're like, okay, okay, I'm clearly cursed.
Yeah.
Mhm. Um,
And I imagine this is how all horror films are written. I don't imagine that it's plot first. I think it's grisly death first.
yeah, I think it's set pieces, and then you like get a
Yeah.
plot kind of
Yeah.
going around it. Yeah,
Yeah.
to be sure. Um, I yeah, I think then they go to the university and it's like obviously like in a basement. But I feel like it's as someone who's from the Midwest, there's something like really spooky about like a normal church basement, not like a cavernous like big
Hmm.
cathedral looking thing, but like, oh no, this would under normal circumstances be like where a potluck would be and it's like, oh nice and warm and then like this is so stark and cold and creepy.
Hmm.
Um and then I think obviously the plot's explained to them.
Yeah.
And then I feel like a further twist could be they're like, we do this because we want to, weed out like skeptics
Yeah.
from. But then I feel like God should show up and punish them for being blasphemous somehow. It's like there is something mystical going on, but like, the person that's in
I
charge of this program gets dragged to
love
hell.
that. I love the idea of our hero doesn't have to commit the like final death.
Hmm.
The just oh, and something insurance act of God, something is
Oh yeah,
there.
force majeure.
Yeah.
I like the
Something
idea.
about the school having to close because of an act of God. Just like
Oh.
the punchline at the end being like, we know that you just witnessed a bunch of murders, but comedy.
Yeah. And also like, can you please bear witness to this insurance policy, please? I think that's really good. Um, Now, when it comes to a supernatural death at the end, we could have
Hmm.
them turned
Hmm.
into salt. We could have Earth swallow them up. We could
Hmm.
have them get turned into ash.
Hmm.
They could turn into paper.
Ooh. Ooh. There's something really horrifying about that becoming like not becoming like ripped up pieces of but like becoming a single sheet of A4 paper
Hmm.
uh which should be like a beautiful metaphor for new beginnings and instead is just like a horrifying one-dimensional existence.
I like that a lot as well. And then what does our hero do with the piece of paper? Do they make it into an aeroplane? Do they take it with them? Do they burn it?
I don't know. I mean, my mind really wants to go to a new chain letter.
I like that as well.
Like, what a way to start a new. But how to say? I mean, obviously, because if you want to have a sequel, you have to
Hmm.
start a new, uh, you have to start a new letter for the sequel movie,
Hmm.
which maybe just has a sort of inverse message. A lot of these things become sort of like it's like a game of telephone, right?
Yeah.
Where maybe the first letter is like you should tell people about the horrors that have happened here.
Hmm.
And obviously, by the time we get to writing the second film, it's, you know, that letter has just changed a little bit to like tell people about the horrors that happened here and also tell like 3 to 4 people or you will.
I like that a lot, actually. They write it out and then they hand it to like the police or whatever. And it kind of is like Indiana Jones style, just a letter on top of all this other paperwork
Yeah,
that
yeah.
eventually will turn into an avalanche. I like that a lot. Very good. Yes, yeah, yeah, all right. Um, who do you think should be our lead?
Oh, oh, that's a great question. Oh,
Yeah.
goodness. Is this where I find out I don't know any actors?
Really? You can say that person from this movie, and I might know their
Yeah, I
name.
can.
Mm,
Okay, so they need to be young. It's like college age, right?
yep.
Young-ish. Who are our and then horror films. I love a horror film with stunt casting, but it's usually like the person that dies a grisly death that is the
Yeah.
stunt cast rather than the
Hmm.
hero. Um, I'm just drawing blank on all actors.
That's fair. I would say, unfortunately, maybe this is another level to it. I feel like since it's a seminary school, it has to be a boy.
Yeah, I think that that's true.
It's got to
I,
be a
I I
boy,
also agree that it does have
unfortunately.
to be a boy.
Um, and I feel like um, who's a young actor that would be good in a horror movie? Man, I should really know this
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm sort of I mean the CW still exists, right? I feel like
Yeah.
that's where that's where we're drawing people from.
Um, I feel like um what is his name? Is it from What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show? Harvey? I think
Oh, the actor that plays Guillermo. Is that who you're thinking
yes.
of?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Harvey Guillén. I feel like he was just in a great horror film this past year called Companion.
Hmm.
And I think it also would be an added layer of like, on top of being skeptical of religion as well, being like a like Latino gay person adds another element of like otherness.
Yeah.
So he's like clearly like, I don't
And
want to be here,
yeah,
but I have
total
to.
outsider in that
Yeah.
context. Yeah. And
Hmm.
I think actually, yeah, really, that would be a great choice.
Yeah. And he's also really funny on top of like he playing scared quite well. Um, and I think that for like the big bad, my gut says John Lithgow
Oh,
or
I was
someone. Yeah,
I was gonna say Jeffrey Goldblum, but I think mainly because
Jeff Goldblum would also be good.
I'm like just any film lifted.
Mm, I my unless my only concern with
Hmm.
that is Jeff Goldblum cannot play from the Midwest at all. He is a coastal boy. There's no way he's from Illinois or wherever. So we'd have to move it to like an upstate,
Yeah.
upstate
Yeah.
New
Okay.
York.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's up to you.
I think also maybe like I'm like maybe too charismatic.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he could play the guidance counselor that gets,
Yeah.
because then you're like,
Actually,
oh,
yeah, that's
what?
a good for like a little stunt cast cameo type of role. Yeah,
Hmm.
actually, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then you can have him in that first scene, like, oh, I know you're coming from the coast, but I was there too. And once you get used to the way that people do things around here, it's actually real nice, or whatever. Um, and then I think I mean, either that or like Ethan Hawke for the main villain. I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
someone who's like really looks good in like clericals, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was in
Yeah.
First Reformed, and so I could kind of picture him in that. But yeah. And then I feel like we're pretty desperate to have like a singular woman in here.
I
So I
know.
feel
It's
like
just, I was like,
I
we
feel
have
like
to
the
have a woman
shopkeep,
in this movie.
yeah, I feel like the shopkeep owner
Yeah, the
makes
shop. And then
sense.
I suppose if we just make God a woman, that sort of would,
Yeah, that would also
yeah,
be quite good. Yeah.
that would work.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I feel like my instinct goes to Laura Linney for the shopkeep
Oh,
owner,
yeah.
who's like so lovely and really good
Yeah.
actor, and you would hate to see her die,
Yeah. Yeah.
and would be really good at trying to be like genuinely helpful to this person who's like having a panic attack, you know? So
Yeah. Great
yeah,
choices.
yeah, I
Great
think it's
choices.
good.
I think I'd make a terrible casting director.
Well,
I
I
was
mean, if you
like,
don't know anyone's
actors.
name, yeah, that's what can you do? I feel like if God's gonna play a woman, is gonna be a woman.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be like, if we're making that choice, it should be the most annoying to people who would be annoyed by that.
Oh, it's Chapel Roan. It's Chapel Roan's first film role, and she's playing God in a horror movie about chain leaders. 100%.
That's really good, actually. I would enjoy that. That's in the full like get up as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I think what would be good would be like, are you going, why do you look that way? It's like, well, I took a form that you would understand. One of those classic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. Oh, love it. Two thumbs up. Incredible. Would watch. Um, do you want to do a lightning round, or would you rather just go out on that high
Yeah, I
note?
could do it.
Okay.
I'll do a lightning round.
Hell yeah.
We'll see if it's up or down from here.
It'll be fine. So it's we get the same prompt and we do a short little pitch. And I'll go
Hmm.
first to give you an example. The word is bark, B-A-R-K, bark. So I
Hmm.
think that it is about a person who just really exaggerates their success and what have you, and gets comeuppance for it eventually. It's kind of a boy who cried wolf story about
Yeah.
someone who works as a chronic liar who works in hospitality and keeps telling everybody that this celebrities keep coming in and they're clearly lying and it's all bark no
Hmm.
bite, big hat no cattle, kind of situation.
Nice.
Yeah.
My mind went to person finds out they can talk to trees
Hell yeah.
through touch.
Mm.
Uh, and the trees, because plants all communicate to each other underground, the trees are telling them about I don't know why. I still have my hand up as if I too am touching the bark on the tree. I love the idea of like a literal tree hugger being like, just tell me everything that I need to know to save the world. I don't know where we are, but there's something. The trees are definitely warning her about something.
That's very good. That's really good. Um, Next one up is one moment. Is Liberty. Oh boy. Liberty. I think there's this insurance company in the States called Liberty Mutual. And so I think this is a mock doc about them and some embezzlement that happened. It's like a white collar crime thriller documentary series starring, I'm gonna say Glenn Howerton from It's Always Sunny as like the leader of the insurance company.
Mhm. Um, all I'm thinking is like some sort of like dark historical film about someone being freed from something. And I'm struggling with specifics because there's so many examples across all of human history.
That's, fair enough. It could be one of those films where you see a bunch of
Or maybe
examples.
it's just,
Hmm.
yeah, it could be. Or maybe it's you know what, actually I've got a better one. It's woman quits her office job and goes and does something way more exciting with her life.
Excellent.
That's it. But
That's it.
it's not Eat, Pray, Love.
No, it's not Eat, Pray, Love, but her name should be Libby.
Yeah.
Mhm. Played by Nicole Kidman. Closed is the next one. Closed. I think this one is about a small restaurateur who is emotionally distant from the customers and consequently doesn't get any business and has to close down. And he learns to open himself up. And once he does, the restaurant opens up as well.
That was so quick. That was incredible.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, I
Nothing
think
if not quick.
okay, closed, business closed. All right. Only dirty jokes now coming to mind because I just went, it's either a business or it's legs.
Why not both, maybe?
Yeah. Closed. Oof. Well, maybe I used up all my good ideas on
Hmm,
the first couple of rounds.
that's okay.
Yeah, I think all my brain wants to do is like make d dirty jokes, and none of them are good or innovative.
I respect it. I respect going, you know what? I'm gonna sit this one out. That's really, good on you.
Yeah.
So with that, we're wrapping up here. What would you like people
Hmm.
listening to this episode to know about you? Do you have any projects coming up?
Yes, always. If
Always.
they want to follow the stuff that I do with Molly Wilkin, it's nothing linear on the internet, on the social media.
Hmm.
Or if people just want a little monthly output of my thoughts, which includes, if I've got shows coming up, but also I like to do a little like fashion piece and a little tiny recipe for people that have zero executive function. I have a newsletter that you can find via my Facebook and Instagram and stuff.
Excellent. I'm now speaking to you, the listener. You can support this podcast by going to tristanmiller.substack.com. I have movie reviews there, another podcast called Movies to Fall Asleep to, where I talk to people about their comfort movies. And then also the video for this very podcast would be available there. Now, to you, Amy, I say thank you very much for doing this. It was heaps of fun talking to you, and it's always lovely to see you.
Well, thank you, and same to you.
2 thumbs up.